All right, thank you everyone for taking the time to be here on the 15th of April, 2025, as we talk about libraries as being a space for a community. And for us, that means a space for art, because art helps build community. And we're going to do some introductions as we to get us started. So we're going to start with people in the room.
Okay.
So be on guard. And then we're going to go to the folks on Zoom. And I'd like to hear your name, kind of what you're working on very briefly in the context of kind of our, the city's arts programs. And if you have done something recently in a library, we want to hear about it. So we want to hear you brag on your connections with the library if you've done anything. Yeah, could be that you went in and checked out a book. That's fine too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Brian, will you start us off?
Sure. I'm Brian. I'm running the activations for Daisy Art Parade. We've got Daisy Art Parade coming up in 4 weeks. And we've done great things with the Roanoke libraries over the last 3 years. More particularly, artists in different neighborhoods have really worked closely with libraries. And I don't know how we could do without them. That is sort of the intersection point where you can meet people you don't know and provide a space where you can have a conversation, have a chance to share a few refreshments, and start fermenting the brain. So I have 5 artists there. Some of them are here that I'd like to just have them boast on it too. But I see Molly, I see Mike, Jane, Robin, Hannah. Everyone at some point works through a library, and like I say, I don't see how we could do what we're doing without that.
Excellent. Thanks, Brian. Jefferson.
My name is Jefferson Rose. I'm Executive Director of Bus Roanoke, co-founder of Bus Roanoke with Bebe Demure, who couldn't be with us today. Maybe she'll log in a little bit. We're running Street Performer Expo on the same weekend as Daisy Art Parade. It's gonna be a fun collaboration. Very excited for it. I've got street performing acts coming in for that from as far away as New Orleans and Minnesota and Boston.
Nice.
And in addition to highlighting all the local performers that we've been fostering since July of last year with the initiation of this program. The fun thing is Bus Roanoke has grown to the point where you can now send us mail at Center in the Square, but that all started before any of that, doing one-off programs at the Roanoke City Libraries. It would not have been anywhere without me coming to summer reading programs and doing some balloon animals, teaching a magic camp over the course of the week, with specifically the one that I was able to engineer and pilot at the Roanoke City Libraries uses found objects. So popsicle sticks, paper clips, it's none of this. You have to go bug your parents for a $250 magic kit off of Amazon or anything. Like, you can do it with stuff in mom's junk drawer. And being able to do that the last 3 summers, whether it's been a week or a couple of days or whatever they schedule that for, doing that over the last 3 summers from the libraries has helped pilot those programs and grow our outreach with the community. And no matter where we go with it, I want to continue doing it at Roanoke City Libraries for as long as we can. That's great.
All right. Thanks, Jefferson. And we'll go to Linda.
Oh, I wasn't expected to be first. Actually, I haven't really done anything through the libraries because, I guess my thought was always libraries are quiet and not a place for drums. But just this past year, a friend of mine who lived in Florida, but now he's in Virginia, went around to all the libraries and did taiko drumming, which is quite loud. And I thought, oh, okay. I hadn't thought about that, but now I think about it. I guess they have, some libraries have rooms. I know that one in Roanoke has a basement where Casey taught drums for a couple of weeks. So it's something I'm curious and thinking about looking into.
Great. Thanks, Linda. Rachel Ann.
I'm Rachel Ann. I'm a local multimedia artist. Right now, I'm doing a lot of work with my poetry group, Post-Apocalyptic Poets for a Pre-Apocalyptic World. I have not done any particular projects with the library per se, but I did walk to main library today to pick up some of my checkouts. So I love the library, and I love that I can walk to one. It's really nice.
Yeah, yeah, we love our libraries. Mike.
Unfortunately, most of my dealings with the library have been very limited. When Catherine, Divine and I were working together doing things, we had performed a show at one of the libraries, I remember. Because a lot of the music that I write, I've got children's programming specific, so a lot of the songs that I have are actually like oh, the Quangle Wangle Hat and the Owl and the Pussycat, and I've got a medley of songs that are all different nursery rhymes. So the literary aspect, I guess, is the English teacher in me comes out, and with a mix of the puppetry and the songs, it usually plays pretty well. So getting into the library seems like a good idea. I just haven't done the legwork yet to make that happen.
It seems like a natural, and tonight's a good way to get that started, I think. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
And Molly.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I finally figured out how to get it off of safe driving mode, so go me. It only took half the year. So I love the libraries. A lot of my catalog events have been through the library. So we've been building fairy houses. And I am working over at Belmont. We kind of came up with our own project to make these giant shadow boxes of art that the kids in Southeast have made. So that's kind of an ongoing thing that we're putting together now. And I didn't introduce myself. I'm Molly. I'm the Southeast neighborhood artist in residence. But yeah, the libraries are great. I think when I moved here, the first library I went to was Melrose for Miss Bean's story time. And then it was like, oh, I have one right up the street from me too. There's Belmont, and I've ended up over at Raleigh Court a lot. So love the libraries.
Thanks, Molly. Corey.
So I have been to the library and I wish I had done more like everyone else is explaining, but basically I've been there and I took some photos when we went on a neighborhood walk with Robin. And I would be interested in doing more, but so far I haven't done a lot at the library. I live pretty close by. I'm just, a few miles away, and been to Market on Melrose and been checking that out and going there to pick up groceries here and there. And outside of that, for anybody who doesn't know, I put together the weekly newsletter and do the illustration and the header.
So it sounds like Art Mouse and Hoppy might visit a library sometime soon.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Amy McGinnis.
So let's see, I'm sort of arts adjacent. I'm not really an artisty person myself, although I have started taking pottery again, and I'm loving that. I try to stay connected into the arts community because I'm involved at Riverdale, and arts are a huge part of Riverdale. And plus, I really have loved getting to know all the artists that I have over the last 2 years. As far as libraries, I think I can say that I have been to every library in the Roanoke Valley. At least once, many of them more than once, and I use them for all kinds of things and have, like when my kids were little, I was there a lot doing the kid stuff, and now I'm there. And it's been really fun over the last 25 years to see the transition from a library being that quiet space where you just went and did your book things into being more community centers And I love the Melrose Library and all the activities that go on over there. That's probably the place that I've done the most things that are library adjacent that aren't actually book involved. So.
And I know I've been in a number of meetings with Amy McGinnis in libraries, and they're a great place to have meetings. It's always lively, and there's a good quiet room, and it's just, so it's a nice mix. Byron or Bo?
Hey, how's it going, y'all?
Hey, good to see you.
Poe Mac, resident artist. I read the email about the library, and I've been really deep into my hip hop economics thing lately. I had one at the Collective for past April 9th.
If I can interrupt you, I think you might have your hand over the microphone.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Can you hear me better now?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean which time. I'll start back. Poe Mac, artist, resident artist. I have my hip hop economics course that I've been pushing forward with. We did one April 9th, this past April 9th at the Collective on 11th Street in the Northwest neighborhood. And currently I'm working on organizing one with a gentleman named Jalen Small over at Roanoke, over at Williamson, the Williamson Road Library branch. And my hip hop economics, for those that might not be aware of it, it's a 2-hour course. It's almost like kind of like a TED Talk mixed with some hand-on creation in the second half of it. And so like I share my experiences, kind of things to look out for, and then we get into actual music creation as well.
Great, thanks, Poe. Natalia.
Hey, sorry I was a few minutes late. I missed what the question prompt was.
So your name, what you're working on currently through, anything you're working on, and then your connection to the library in the past, if you have
Okay,
one.
Great. So I'm Natalia Michael. I'm a resident artist with Roanoke City this year. I absolutely love the libraries. I grew up here, and so I have many, many fond memories of my mom taking my sister and I to the library and just like spending hours there. There wasn't, I think, quite as much of that programming that has been mentioned. So I mostly think of it as just sitting quietly and looking at, American Girl books when I was little. I actually still have my first library card. I got when I was 7. I still have it. And so it's rather precious to me. And now with children of my own, they're a little too small to come to any of the reading events, but I think the libraries will be regular fixtures there once they're big enough to take them out. So many positive feelings.
Great, thanks, Natalia. And Hannah.
My name's Hannah Patrick, and I'm the neighborhood artist for 11th Street. And, I have been to quite a few of the Roanoke libraries, and I just love so many of them. Like, I think Melrose is a work of art. Like, you go in there and just like the light fixtures and like the bathroom. I've never even seen anyway, those are not the details that are important tonight. I really enjoyed, I did a seed swap event at the Melrose Library, and that was a really great event. And just through the artisan residency program, I haven't yet hosted anything at the library, but this meeting is definitely reminding me how fun that would be. But otherwise, just a frequent visitor and big fan of the Roanoke Library System.
Thanks, Hannah. Hey, Catherine Devine, you ever been in a library?
Here we go. Can you hear me?
Sure can.
Yeah, I have a bad cold, so I'm going to keep it brief because I'm kind of croaky. But yeah, I definitely love the Roanoke libraries. I've brought up my own kids regularly participating. And then most recently, I've been doing some work with the Belmont Library. Last summer, we did puppets. We did puppets with the Gainsborough Library. That's when Mike and I did a project together. I've done comic books and graphic novels with the library, and I definitely love that combination of like bringing art and literacy together, which is usually very well received by the kids for sure. And I'm also going to be a guest at the Belmont Library Southeast special event. This is coming up May 3rd. So I'll be face painting. So we'll see how many little faces I can get to in the time I'll be there. But I'm really a big fan of all the libraries. And I have a piece of art in the library at the one on Williamson Road. So if you ever I can't invite you all to go. Well, I guess you have to be mindful that it's the children's bathroom, but I have a mural inside the children's bathroom in the Williamson Road Library that I'm actually super proud of. So if you ever get a chance to pop your head in there with a little one, maybe see what I've been working on. But anyhow, I'm always happy to hear from the library with any of the projects they have in mind.
Yeah, I remember the rededication of that library after the overhaul, and the bathroom was a highlight. Everybody was going back to see the bathroom. Yeah. Jane.
Hello? Oh,
Hello.
yeah, you can hear me. Good.
Yeah.
So I love the library. My children's library in Richmond was a tall, willowy woman of elegance named Emily Lawrence, and I adore her to this day. And she let me volunteer at the library. I took all kinds of classes there. I took a animation class from Phil Trumbo, of all things, Futuropolis, 1984. And my first job was an assistant to the artist at the library, and I helped make signs and displays and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I love libraries. So any chance I get to do a workshop and schedule it with Miss Bean at Melrose or Megan over at Gainsborough, I love these women and working with them, and I am just so pleased that we have such a active and diverse and exciting programming schedule at these libraries.
Yeah, thanks, Jane. Jasmine, how are you tonight?
I'm good.
Good.
I haven't been to the library in years, so I don't go anymore. Probably when I was a kid, I went to the library, but I don't really go anymore.
Got to change that. Over at Melrose, I was in a meeting there last night, and they've got those little mini sewing machines, and which Jasmine, you sew like a champ. So I bet there's some kids there who would love to learn a little bit how to sew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Well, thanks for being on tonight. Tahisha, we're just sharing who we are, what we're working on, and then any connection we've had lately with the library.
So I don't know, me, maybe it's me. You've frozen. It's probably me. Okay, you said that we what we're working on, and what about the rest?
Yeah, if you've had any connection with the library lately.
Well, I'm gonna dovetail on to Jane's way of expressing and tell you my origins with the library. Like actually my first job where I had a paycheck was on the payroll was at a huge city library in South Florida where I grew up. I was a library page. I put books back all day. And this day it is it may be my number one. If not, it's number one or number two. I don't know, favorite job ever. If I could support myself the way I needed to now, I'd do it again. I love it. Love those carts, pushing those carts full of books and coming back with an empty one. I felt so fulfilled. And I pop to libraries locally quite often, whether it's to visit someone else who's doing an event. Popped in with Jane and Robin and Polly a couple of weeks ago when they were dressing the Sankofa bird, putting her feathers on. and I've had the opportunity to do some events here at Melrose Library. So it's always a place, Raleigh Court. It's always been a safe place for me, and a place that I can use to work on projects myself, the development of projects even.
Great, great. Thanks, Tahisha. And then Cody and Renee.
Hi, everybody. I'm Cody, and I'm not doing a whole lot with the Arts Commission right now, but I've been doing a lot of logos and stuff for some local small businesses in the area. So that's one way that I've been involved in the community. And then, unfortunately, I've been a little too busy to go to the library lately, but one of my favorite library events that we went to was with Matthew Mosley and his performance of the album that he created actually at the library, recorded it there. And that was Where the Black Skin Grows. And that was a pretty transformative experience. So that was probably one of my favorite memories at Melrose Library.
And before we hop to Renee, why don't you share one of the logos? Tell us what logo you've done lately.
Well, one of the bigger ones, I guess, was Riverdale. So that's exciting. And then I just met with Mark Fry of Creative Occasions today, and working with something for him over there in Vinton. So that was also exciting.
Great, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Renee.
And I am Renee Spar. I love the libraries. I go to them often. But I am actually doing some illustrations for the library currently. I'm doing illustrations for their summer reading booklet, which is great. And I know we will probably talk about that more tonight, but yeah, I love the libraries and all that they provide for the community and people of all ages. I think like last year we rented like a bird watching kit from one of the libraries that had like binoculars, and like that was really great. Just so many like different resources that you might not even realize that they can provide.
Yeah, always a surprise. There's always, yeah, the libraries do terrific work. And, you know, it's not like Amber Lowry to brag on herself for the library. So we had to do it for her. So thank you. You all just did a terrific job.
Can I take y'all on the road? This is great.
Sure.
Yeah, we asked Amber to come on tonight and talk to us about the library. Amber, first off, how many years have you worked at the library?
Yeah, so this is my 20th year. Isn't that
Wow.
crazy? Yeah, I started here when I was 5. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, this is my second job out of college. So I came on, I was thinking of, who was it? Tahitha? Let's see. Tahitha, right? First job in a Florida library. So yeah, so I came on as an assistant too, and I've just basically worked my way up. My director, who can't be here tonight, she pulled me aside after less than a year and said, I need you to go and get your master's. I think you're good. You would be a great librarian. And so that's what I did. So I went back to school while raising 2 young children, single mom in it. And anyway, and so yeah, 20 years later, here I am. And still loving every minute of it, but especially moments like this. You literally made me smile, like my cheeks hurt just because of everything that you all said about our libraries, everything we were, that we hope people in the community in the city feels about us. You all just literally put it right there on the table. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's working. Not kidding. So it's wonderful. I loved hearing everything that everybody said.
Yeah, well, and someone said it, we can't do, Brian said it, started us off saying we can't do a thing without the libraries. And yeah, certainly with arts and culture, you were such a close partner, and we worked together on so many things. And I'm kind of wondering why it took us so long to get you in here with our Arts Connect Tuesday. But thank you for being here. And with that, we'll turn it over to you and let you tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, so I'm going to take a few minutes and tell you a little bit more, though some of you all covered. Some of you all might actually be in this presentation. I do have a slideshow just because it seems like, oh, can you let me share, Doug?
Yeah, I'm doing it right
awesome.
Now.
It seems like the librarian thing to do, if I get you all in a room, that I should at least preach to you a bit. So, and it should always, I feel like, should have a presentation of some sort. So let me see if I can do that. Okay. Can you all see my screen all right?
Got it.
Okay, so There's the libraries. Engage, educate, and empower. And you all literally kind of encaptured that by some of your stories and experiences through the libraries. I feel like we're doing a really great job of that in the city right now, with our partnerships and with our programs and with our services, and everything that we offer to the public. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the oh, there's somebody. Oh, we're going to ignore Bubbles, right? Bubbles still, no, we're not letting Bubbles in. Sorry. Okay. Y'all can see some of the pictures here for neighborhood art activities. Are we still good? Okay, good. So here are just a few things that here just in the last year or so that we featured through programs. Of course, some of you mentioned our festivals. I know that we had the Fairy Houses at Raleigh Court. Some of you mentioned that we have the Southeast Festival coming up at our Belmont branch. But we love our festivals. We love incorporating art and culture into those festivals. We love doing programs in the middle here. That's Tabitha over at Raleigh Court. She did a mini art show that she worked with a lot of the teenagers that are at our Raleigh Court Library. We, of course, have the Run for Refugees portable mural that everybody, some of you on the call here today helped us with. We work with a lot of community partners. There's a picture there of Star City Circus Society. They came and helped us out during last summer, of course. And then we have the ballet there too. There's Pedro. We're going to miss him. And we do lots of our own type of art programs. A lot of our librarians, they're kind of built for this. You know, we like to do our story times. We like to involve art in a lot of the things that we do. Not only do our programs have a lot of art, but our buildings do as well. So some of you might be familiar with some of these. I didn't even put half of what we have around at all of our libraries. Every single one. There are 6 city locations. Some of you mentioned that you've been to all. Some of you mentioned that you might not have been to any. So I encourage you to not only visit the main like the city libraries, which there are 6, plus our eBranch, which I'll talk about in a minute, but to there's actually the sheet that you can get from any library that lists all the locations. You all probably have seen this around. I think it's a really fun game. This would be a good summer game for you all. Is see how many you can go. Let's just go around the valley. The one library card will work for all of those libraries. There are 19 of them. And so 6 in the city, but some in Salem, Botetourt, and Roanoke County. So I encourage you all to get that and make it a game. See if you can get, clear off a bingo card of libraries this summer and see if you can get to all of them. But these are some of our public art in our libraries. You'll recognize some of them. We do have quite a bit of Gillespie pieces, which we're very, very proud of. And then we have some really neat installs both inside and outside of our branches. The Crystal Springs branch, I just wanted to mention that because it's super cool. So this eBranch actually opened on May 28th of last year. And it's a new service point for our libraries because it's open 24/7, which is really cool. It's like a Redbox, but inside books and DVDs. And it's free because you just scan your library card, pick out what you want, and it shoots it out on a little tray and feeds it out to you, and you can return books as well. But the cool thing beyond it being a 24/7 library and being state of the art is that we worked with the Arts Commission and working with the local school there, Crystal Spring Elementary School, and their students designed a wrap that was installed back last spring, almost a year ago. And so we were able to dedicate that to the to South City, like Crystal Spring neighborhood, and you can see the before and after, and how much better does that look, right? Isn't that cool? So it attracts a lot of people. Of course, we started off with Doug when he was this concept of the Youth Poet Laureate, and we were very excited to feature the announcement of at the Melrose Fall Festival, which would have been last fall in 2023 at our Melrose Branch Library. That was absolutely wonderful, and we continue to work with Lainey, Miss Spencer, in doing a lot of different programs. She just finished up another workshop, and we're excited about what the future holds for that. So big supporters here and very excited. Of course, many of you mentioned the Arts Connect and all the different neighborhoods that you are working with. Some of you are featured here. I think this is Molly, right? I haven't met Molly, but I saw Molly and I was like, I have her on my slideshow. And then, of course, so I have you the Fairy Houses program at our Go Green for Grandin Festival, which was so wonderful. Gainsborough also has some feature art programs that are featuring some of your artists, especially at their Gainsborough Block Party that's coming up. Kindness Stones, Chalk Walks of Hope, 5-minute portraits, face painting, and then even performances by the Community Arts Reach. So very excited. Jane, of course, helped with the Daisy Art Parade classes at both Melrose and Gainsborough. She mentioned that earlier. So again, all of these, this the connectivity that we have. Beyond that, we did mention our festivals. Here is Go Green that just happened 2 weekends ago, but here are 3 more opportunities for you artists. If you're interested and want to see what it's all about, especially our festivals, it's a great way to see our community and our libraries and what we do with our community. So we have the Spring Festival at Belmont on May 3rd, the Gainsborough Block Party, which has already been mentioned, on May 17th. And then we have our big kickoff for the summer reading program on June 14th at our Ride and Read. That's at our Williamson Road Library. And so if you want to come out and just come, if you want a table at these events, whatever you need, I'm going to give you my contact information at the end of this. So I really want to encourage you all for me to be the person you reach out to, and I will put hand in hand of who you need to talk to accomplish whatever it is, whether it's a room reservation or I want to be at a library and present this program, or I just need this really cool book and I don't know how to look this up. I'll be here for you. I'll be your personal librarian, which is what my mom calls me. She'll call me and she'll be like, hello, I need to speak to my personal librarian. I'm like, okay, what can I get you, Mom? Okay, so we also have great archival projects. You all mentioned Megan at Gainsborough Library. The Gainsborough Library is very dear to our hearts, and some of the archival projects that they have are extremely wonderful. And so we're excited about some of this stuff, especially as we expand some of our collections. We're housing the Ramey collection, which is a huge deal. We've just cleaned out our basement and we're getting ready to archive a lot of that work, and we will be housing that collection. We also work very closely with the Harrison Museum of African Culture, and we are helping them with some of their expansions as well. Our Virginia room is very involved as well, one of the largest collections on the side of Richmond. I encourage you, if you haven't been to any other branch, but you're really into genealogy or research, just visit the Virginia room. It is fascinating. And we do have an archivist. His name's Dyron, and he is on staff, which is something to be proud of. Our librarians, well, all of them are to be proud of, but anyway, Dyron's pretty cool. An archivist. I just think that's a cool job, but here I am. So anyway, lots of great projects that are coming out of it as well. And then Renee mentioned earlier. So we're very excited, and that's kind of where this conversation started, but we're excited about our summer reading program because the state picks our theme, and this year, ignore the art. This is what the state gave us. Okay. So Renee's going to do something better. We're like, we need to do more. So this is Color Our World, which is the theme. And so Renee's going to help us in she's going to be our featured local artist for our brochure. And so every year we produce this pretty large brochure that lists all of our programs for our 7-week summer reading program, and that's for all ages. And so she's going to do some of the art for that, and we're very excited. Our summer reading program kicks off on June 9th. And we are going to kick it up by partnering with the Taubman Museum, because if you have not heard, they are opening an exhibit on June 9th, Opposites Attract, which is a Mo Willems exhibit. And if any of you are children's book fans, you might know Mo Willems. And he does Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus or the Elephant and Piggy books. So librarians are kind of geeking out right now over at Roanoke City, because especially if you're a children's librarian, because his art and his books are absolutely wonderful. So we will be, we've rented an Elephant and Piggy costume, and we will be at that event, and we will be doing story times, we hope, on trolleys in conjunction with their big opening and event. So it's wonderful to work with these community partners that have like-minded staff and organizations that can spread the word of love and acceptance in art and color. So we're very excited. Let's see, Broger. Let's see next. Oh, one more plug, and then I'm going to finish up by showing you something that maybe you all might not have known about. But this is the Belmont Branch Library. Like I said, my director is not here today, but anytime she gets an opportunity to step up on that soapbox, she is going to talk about this. And that is the Belmont Branch Library. If you have been to all of our libraries, you understand how we really need to renovate our Southeast branch. Every branch has been touched but the Southeast branch, and we're very excited that it is listed on the city's capital improvement plan. So fingers crossed, we are hoping that this is going to be our next project. And when this is our next project, you all are going to be very involved, just like you have with all the other projects that we've had. Anytime we design a library, we always call Doug and we're like, okay, what can we do to make sure the arts are represented in these libraries, to make sure our community feels welcomed and accepted, to make sure that this is a calming space, to make sure that, you know, that it represents the community that it's in. I have a little story, again, because I've been here 20 years. A while ago, a long time ago, we bought and purchased some land over off of Peters Creek, the city did. And we were going to build this big Uber branch, kind of like South County. Nothing against South County, but big Uber branch, right, for the city. And it kind of halted when we decided that the strength is in our neighborhoods. This is the strength of city. And so we don't need necessarily a big Uber branch. We need to invest into our communities, into our branches that are within the hubs of these small neighborhoods that represent the community that built them and supports them. And by doing that, we stopped that big project. We divided the money up and we went through a capital improvement plan. And that's what got you the Melrose Branch Library, the Raleigh Court Library, which looks a lot different than it used to. That's what got the refresh of Gainsborough. Of course, we were only allowed to do so much with Gainsborough since it is a historical landmark. But by adding on the back of that community room and making it accessible to all, that's what got us the Williamson Road Branch Library. If y'all remember that, I mean, it was just like a cement block from the street, and now it's just full of windows. And now when you go into the bathroom and turn the fan on, the owl moves because of Catherine's designs. So it's just, and butterflies everywhere. It's just beautiful what we've done to all of our branches. And through that, I think the statements and the stories that you all have told is a testament to our dedication to our community and to our neighbors and to the work and that the support we want to offer to our citizens. So we're very excited to hopefully be able to bring the same thing to the Belmont branch. If this project does go through, which it will actually be larger than our Melrose Branch Library. Imagine that. Yeah. So you can see these are the designs here, and it will actually have like a kind of an amphitheater, an interior amphitheater built into it, where you see the bottom right image where it says Belmont. We're going to look into, once we get this going, we're going to look into an art, some kind of art piece that would go where that Belmont is, a design and steel that would really incorporate what, you know, that would represent Southeast. Lots of meeting rooms, community spaces, lots of outdoor patio spaces, which we enjoy, all are built into this plan. So we're excited. So I know most of you knew a lot about libraries. I was hoping just to recap a little bit on some of the stuff we're doing, but I was also wanting to, Doug said he wanted me to think about ways that we can lead discussion. And so this is what I thought. Did you know that the library has a Library Bill of Rights? And did you know that in that Bill of Rights, there is a Visual and Performing Arts in Libraries, which is an interpretation of the Library Bill of Rights? So I kind of want to challenge everybody on this call to look this up. This is the American Library Association. You can find this on their website. And it's great to read what the Library Bill of Rights involves. When you hear things about book banning and funding and all the stuff that's going in the news right now that just breaks your heart. This is our Bill of Rights. This is what, especially Roanoke City Libraries, this is where our beliefs lie. This is what we hold up to standards as far as our Roanoke City Libraries. And this is where you all fall in that. Arts is important. And there was an article that recently was released by the American Library Association through the Library Journal that talked about how public libraries and public arts are connected. And so I thought, Doug, if it's okay with you, this is kind of where I thought maybe our discussion could go. These are 6 points that the American Library Association pointed out of why it is vital that we have public arts in our public libraries. And ignore the closing announcement that's going on right now. I'm at the main library right now, so you can hear somebody saying that we're closing soon. But anyway, ignore that. So I thought this is where we start our discussion. If it's okay with you, if you all want to give me any feedback on where you all see our partnerships and the importance of the arts in public libraries, and how, especially during this time, as far as budgets are concerned and just different things going on with the world, how it's important that we have each other's backs and that we're supporting each other. And I thought this might be a kind of a fun way. So the first one is libraries as cultural hubs. I didn't know if anybody wanted to comment on that. Putting people on spots. Or just comment on things I've said already. It doesn't matter.
I'll go ahead with a quick comment, if that's all right.
Sure.
Thinking about one of the things that I think about is just so vital for libraries in general, like in to exist as like spaces, is just the concept of the death of third spaces. Mm-hmm. And for anyone that, I'm sure most people here know that term, but just like a place that you don't have, that's not private, or you need to go to like spend money to like hang out there. And just like the library is so welcoming. I was very pleasantly surprised. When I, after a little bit of a hiatus, returned to the library a couple of years ago and learned that late fees were waived. That was just seemed very welcoming. And I really appreciated that there seemed to be some funding that went in that direction.
Well, it's funny because you would think, yes, there was funding involved, but there were studies done by other public libraries that were ahead of us on this. It's something we had looked at for quite a while. But the studies showed that if you remove fines, that books actually came back quicker and more often than if you had the fines. There is a thing as like library, like there's shaming upon fines. And so a lot of times when people would check out a book or a DVD or any kind of material and not bring them back on time, there was kind of a shame to it. They were embarrassed to do it. And a lot of people would just create a new card because they didn't want anybody to see the fact that they owed, $58 or something like that. So when you take away that shame and that, things came back so much quicker. And it was interesting. Instead of waiting to the due date, people were just brought stuff back when they were done with it, so that the next person could check out. It's like the concept. It changed people's mindset, and it changed the way they were using the library. And so it's been wonderful to know that, especially for us to decide as a consortium, which was a big deal. To decide as a city was easy. We're 6 libraries. Our funding is coming straight from the city. But to get Botetourt and Salem and Roanoke County and have all of us decide that this is what we were going to do together as a consortium, it was a big deal. And it is something we're very proud of. So thank you for recognizing that.
Great.
I just wanted to say something about the Belmont Library project. I'm really excited about it. I'm pretty much drooling thinking of all the art projects that can happen there. And the project that Becky and I came up with for now is so that it can move with the library. So we're really excited about that. But we had so many ideas of things that can happen after it's done. And spending time in that library, it is so busy. The middle school, it's like they let out and they come straight over to the library. They eat pizza, they hang out. It's really important. So I just wanted to put that out there.
I love that you see that. It is so important for our teenagers to find space in our libraries. I know that there are some some members of our community that might sometimes call and complain maybe about our Raleigh Court branch, which if any of you have been over to Raleigh Court branch around 3:30 on a school day, it is pretty extreme. We'll have anywhere from 90 to 100 teenagers in that branch for a solid straight hour, if not longer. But, you know, we always ask, where else would you rather them be? What a better testament to public libraries than to say, you know, from 3:30 to 4:30, right in front of a high school, this is where the majority of the teens choose to spend their time. Well, thank you. That's wonderful. And we are getting the same over at with our Belmont branch. Also, Williamson Road, Breckenridge lets out, and Mr. Jalen Small. I guess Pomac, right, was talking about working with Jalen. Jalen has done wonders over there, and he has quite a big group of middle schoolers that come over. And by building that relationship and that trust and that safe space, we are building better young adults because they find value in that public space, in that third space, like you say. You know, the space that they can go at and be themselves and not have to pay for anything while they're there. And just, you know, I always used to joke that it was like the Hardee's, but for teens. You know, you would go to a Hardee's like at, you know, 7 o'clock in the morning, and you'd have like a different age of group of people that would sit around with the newspaper and have a biscuit and a coffee, right? Well, this is Hardee's for the teens. They come there after school, and we count our lucky stars that this is where they choose to spend their time.
I know I'm starting well, I was doing it at Melrose last year, and it's starting up again, doing juggling at the Melrose Library after schools, Miss Bean, at Miss Bean branch, I guess on Wednesdays when they do the meal
dinner
night
duty.
there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I'm there with a bunch of no longer stage worthy juggling props that can get thrown around. And the fostering creativity and the community engagement parts of the 6 points you had up are a big part of that, because it serves a lot of functions there. I am not a Ukrainian gymnastics coach when it comes to juggling. If they're just gonna make up a game with rings and clubs and play a very lightweight version of baseball, that's a perfectly good use of that time. It's just, I don't. There's always the 10-year-old that's committed to figuring out how it actually is supposed to be juggled, and then everyone else is just experimenting. But that's the fun part with it, right? And I'll do this at after school programs, or with certain more private groups. And there was like, well, what do you expect them to learn from this? I don't expect anyone to learn how to juggle in 45 minutes. That's ridiculous. But 45 minutes a week over the course, I think we're doing 10 weeks from May into September this year. I'm working that out with the PCW, Partnership Community Wellness, for you guys over at Melrose. Then you start getting some real engagement and some real investment. And just because of my schedule last year, it had fallen through for the fall. But I was just at Hurt Park Elementary for their career day on Friday, and a lot of the kids from your Melrose branch remembered me at career day. So the community engagement and the freedom for experimenting with stuff and not sticking to a strict syllabus of a very tight lesson plan is something that you really can only get at a library.
Yeah, and you mentioned something too, and especially when you're thinking about some of our branches. We try to bring in arts and culture and classes, and I mean, last year we've had the opera here and the symphony. Some of our children don't get to experience that, and by bringing it into a free space where they can connect with another person that's in that field, or to hear an opera singer, or to watch somebody play the violin, or to attend a juggling class. These are things that students in like private schools and universities and well-off families afford all the time. This is not necessarily something that our families can afford, and to be able to offer that for our families is very important and part of our mission. we brought a few things. So we have a program at the Melrose Branch Library every fall. It's called Flip the Fair. It's in partnership with Virginia Tech and Roanoke City Schools. And we bring in fifth graders, and then researchers and scientists from Virginia Tech come, and they're the scientists and do like a science fair, but they have to bring down their language so they can communicate effectively to the fifth graders and talk to them about their research that they're doing. So that's why it's called Flip the Fair. The fifth graders become the judges and the research students become the actual student. Anyway, in doing that, there were different things that the kids were getting to use, like they're going to make another announcement, but any different things that you would normally find in like a science lab. And they're like, I've never used this before. I've never seen this. We had an oceanography, a program a few years ago. Actually, it's been probably more than a few years ago, where they brought in like starfish that you could hold and sand dollars, and you could touch certain things from the ocean. And you know, a lot of the kids that came to that program, they're like, I've never been to the beach before. I've never, I've never felt the sand, and so even an activity of walking through sand, taking your shoes off and being able to walk through sand. So it's just having a place where kids and families can experience life. When you're reading, part of that is the content knowledge. When you're reading a story about the beach, but you've never been to the beach, or you're reading a story about a juggler, but you've never seen anybody juggle, having that life experience can really build onto the character and the development of these young children. So thank you, Jefferson.
It's always a pleasure. It's fun.
Yay. Well, they love you. You have a presence because, you have that height thing. So like, even if they don't remember your name, they're like, where's that guy, that tall guy, that jumps? I'm like, gosh, Jefferson, he'll be back.
Yeah, I worked on it every day for 16 years. I don't know why everyone else quit.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I will say in particular, I work with, you used the term consortium. I work with probably at least once a year, almost every branch. And in particular, they're all great. In particular, the audiences that you get with the kids and the families in the Roanoke City libraries are the most appreciative, the most engaged, and the most fun. You get into certain pockets of any area, and you're gonna get ones that, well, I've seen this 15 times, I don't care anymore. But that is not the case. Like all of Roanoke, some places more than others, but all of Roanoke City is really appreciative and really fun and really engaged to work with.
Yeah. See, there's encouragement for the others on the call that have not done anything in our libraries. I open call for all, guys. If you have an idea, you want to do a drum circle, we got you. You want to do, I loved all the things that everybody's working on, and like the TED Talk with creation that Pomac was talking about. I'm so glad that you got hooked up with Jalen. This is going to be a perfect fit. And then Molly, again, I know you're doing the shadow boxes at Belmont and you have the fairy houses thing, but there's just so many, there really is nothing that we're going to say no to, because if it's something that you all are enjoying and that you have passion about, even sometimes it's not necessarily about learning how to juggle with Jefferson. It's learning how to be passionate and to continue working hard at something that you enjoy. And so they might not even come out ever learning how to juggle, but they will see what hard work and dedication and practice will build to you. So I encourage anybody, if they have a talent they want to use or show or talk about, especially with children or adults, we would gladly be your guinea pigs. It's okay. No one's going to be sitting in the back of the room with like a clipboard saying, you didn't do a good job at that. So if you want to take it as a try, I can even put you at a smaller branch so you can just try with a few kids to see how you do it first. We're very, very relaxed and very open, especially our summer reading program. I just love using local people. Our families our children deserve to see people that live in the community that are working hard at, whatever their passion is. That's what makes good character.
If you don't mind me asking, where can we go to learn more about the summer reading program and how someone might get involved with it?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, it's going to probably be around mid-May. On our Facebook page and our website, we will have our brochure that will probably be published with the art of Renee. And so everything will be listed in a brochure of what we have day by day, week by week, of all the programs. Everything, of course, is free. It's for all ages. We have a variety of programs that I'm really looking forward to this year, from different science programs to simple things like phone parties. I believe that everything kind of circles back to literacy somehow, so we can call it, literacy phone party. I don't know, but it's fun, and it's a place, especially right now. I'm not for sure if anybody's connected with or have children in Roanoke City Schools, but our CPS Plus is not going to be going on this summer, and that's a big deal for our families. A lot for the last 10 years, our families have relied on our CPS Plus for not only academics and enrichment, but kind of for childcare. This is somewhere that a lot of kids would go and be there and safely during the summer. So we're going to have a lot more kids this summer that have not necessarily a lot to do. So they're looking for stuff. So we have jam-packed, I think over 400 programs this summer that we're going to be offering during that 6 to 7 weeks of summer. That we're very excited about, from little things to big things. And so, yeah, if you're wanting to try to be involved, as in to help and volunteer, I'll have a list of programs, and really you can just say, hey, I'd love to come out, to that, story time, or to that science program, or to the whatever, and just, be an extra set of hands. We'd be happy to have volunteers. If you'd rather do on a programming side of things, I'd like to hear from you sooner than later, just because I would like to get you into the brochure. So if you do want to do, shadow boxes or fairy houses or whatever, drum circles, please reach out to me soon in the next week, please. And we'll look at your schedule. We look at our schedule, and we'll put you in somewhere, big, small, little kids, big kids, adults, whatever you want. We'll try you out. We'd love to work with every single one of you.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
400 programs is really, really impressive. Oh my gosh.
I know it. We typically have about that many every year. So I think we might even be at 450 right now. But you have to think we have 6 branches. So we try to say, every day of the summer during our 7-week program, there's at least, there's lots. There's at least something at every branch. So if you think about that, just one program a day at each branch, then it does add up. And they've got some creative stuff this year. It's going to be super fun. And we continue to use our community partners. So we will have Mill Mountain Theater. We will have Mill Mountain Zoo. We have a lot of our, again, we're partnering with the Taubman. We like to use our local people. So.
Fun. And Amber, all 6 of those points, those are fantastic and spot on. And you mentioned ALA and the work and advocacy that's happening through organizations, primarily that one. But there is a reality, given that the IMLS has had been
struggles.
Yeah. And there are, things are under attack, things that we care about, really, really closely. It seems to me, just digging in deeper and engaging locally, we're so fortunate to have this neighborhood library structure in Roanoke. We've got the place right there to connect to, connect. But that's all. That connection is the critical part for organizing a community. And so we've got it. We've got a structure already in place, and that's what we've been spending the last few years doing.
I'm so glad we have it.
Yeah. So we really are coming at things from a strong point, and the work that we're doing as we build our community right here locally in the neighborhood, in the city. That is critical, and it's going to be even more critical. And the things that we really care about, we've got to show how we appreciate them. We've got to use them. We've got to engage with them, and we've got to advocate for them. So just thank you to the library. We'll be I don't know. I don't know what I would do without my local library. They get tired of seeing me coming into Raleigh-Fort Branch Library and walk in there almost every day, I think. Yeah.
I will say, we're very lucky here in the city, guys. I mean, I've heard horror stories of other public libraries, but the city supports its libraries, and the city as a government, as well as the city as the community, supports its libraries, and it's important to them. And we feel extremely supported. We have a very strong foundation, and we have hard workers. I'm telling you, our staff is just absolutely amazing, and they've all been handpicked by Sheila. I mean, the passion that they drive with, the service minded people that they are, is just absolutely amazing. I think it speaks volumes, and the city supports us so much through all of that. And so we are very lucky. There are other libraries across this nation that do not have that strong foundation. They don't have the support from their government or municipal. They do not have the community buy-in, and we have all of that. So your support and you even using our libraries, and then just being our voice, is helpful too. It just keeps on building and making that stronger, those connections. So we just appreciate everything that you've all done for us as well.
Well, thank you, Amber. It's right here at 8 o'clock. We want to give you a round of applause.
No, thank you.
and say thanks for being with us tonight.
Sure.
Anybody have anything else for Amber before we go?
Contact info.
Yes, I thought about that. Okay, I'm gonna copy and paste this into the chat really quick. And this is me if you need me. I wonder if did that not go in there. Hold on. Oh, it did it twice. Apparently it did it like, that looks horrible, but you get the drift. So it's Amber Lowry, and that's my number, 853-6412. And it's basically my name at roanokeVA.gov, amber.lowry@roanokeVA.gov. So yeah, reach out to me anytime. I actually started here, like I said, as an assistant, and then moved up to associate, and then children's librarian, and then manager of youth services. I'm now the assistant director under Sheila Umberger, who is our mighty, mighty director, who has all the wonderful ideas and the support. So she would be here tonight if she could, but she sent me in her stead. So.
Oh yeah, we were in good hands. And Corey has dropped his email in case anybody has anything for the newsletter. Feel free to send it to Corey. We send that newsletter out every Monday morning, bright and early. And of course, anything that's happening in the libraries that you want us to put in there, we're happy to put that in there as well, Amber. And then I think with that, I'll just turn it over a little bit to Brian just to see if you need to take care of any business while we have everybody in the space here.
No, just today, I was planning to make an announcement today that one of the groups at the Jewish Daycare Center was looking for newspapers for their art event, and they solved it just before tonight.
Okay.
But I like the idea that people are out there making stuff. We got 4 weeks to go as the parade. Some people may still be making stuff. Some people may need help with it. We had a few glitches that we're gonna have talks with the city about in terms, but
Yeah, we'll handle that in the morning.
yeah, we'll have.
I know I sent you a picture of it when I was at Blue Ridge Indie Market. Did you end up having anyone that could make use of that fabric and materials library they have there?
I sent people there. I don't know if they used it or not.
Okay,
that was
but
still
they're
pretty
aware
good
of that
too.
resource? Okay, good.
And I know there was people asking about where are these places where people are making things. So I like you to use word of mouth just to let people know what groups of people are making stuff. I know Jane's here, Robin's here. We're making them in the libraries.
Yeah.
We're making them in people's basements. We're making them in neighborhood parks. And wherever people gather together, it's a chance to make stuff. So
I tell you, everybody, we missed putting in Stormwater is making their next iteration of River Critter for the Daisy Art Parade. they're inviting people to come in and help them, and I need to post that. I'm gonna send a special
that'd be great,
newsletter
yeah.
out tomorrow. And I'm also gonna say, if anybody wants to join our group, they're welcome to, and I'll put my contact information. So if anybody has a drop-in day that you want me to promote, if you wanna send that to me tonight, I'll get that in a newsletter out to folks tomorrow. If you're doing drop-in art making for the Daisy Art Parade, and you want anybody who just has a moment or two to pop by, we're happy to advertise that tomorrow.
And there are artists out there like Catherine that have been doing this for years with groups helping them along. So I appreciate individual artists doing what they do to make this happen.
Doug,
Yeah.
I'll shoot you the information for Jane and I's workshop that's happening on Thursday. Is that right? 3 to 6 at Melrose Library.
Great, and that's with the Sankofa bird, right?
Yes, and we're going to also work on some of the Wilkinson items, right?
Oh, great.
Is that right, Jane?
Yep, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah. And I gotta brag on Jane. Oh my gosh. Jane presented today to the Arts Commission and shared what she's doing in the neighborhoods, and shared what she's doing in partnership. And she mentioned a number of you and showed pictures of what's happening, showed images of Reverend Wilkinson in progress. And it was so fantastic. They all felt great about it, but I tell you, Charlene wasn't even able to be on, she wasn't able to be on the call today, but she texted me after this, Jane. And she said, because I sent out your presentation, hope you don't mind. I sent her your presentation and I sent it out to everybody so they have the pictures. And she said, Douglas, I am crying. The presentation is so beautifully informative. I am so happy to see the love that was put into these projects. Gainsborough is going to be okay. And that was just powerful. I want to share that with you.
Thank you. That's so lovely.
Yeah. And thank you for presenting to the Arts Commission. And we want to keep doing these during the year. It's called a spotlight. We do 10 minutes before the commission meets, and we love highlighting artists. I know Brian's done it. Catherine Devine's done it in the past. John Merle's done it. They really do enjoy it. So let's talk as we move forward. They meet monthly. And with that, does anybody have anything else?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Just in the same vein as doing something while we have everybody in the same place. I know you wanted to connect with what we got for Daisy Art Parade. Did you handle that?
Well, we'll talk about that more. I want to give a shout out to Amy, though. I talked to you being through a rough week with the NoteFan, and our community goes out to NoteFan and what they do, but also what you're doing. I know it's been really tough. And during that, I reached out to you, and you still came forward with happy, positive feelings. So. We're working through some glitches with Daisy Art Parade. I'll follow up with you if there's any problems with it, but is that what you're talking about?
In parallel with it.
Yeah.
Anyone who, in addition to the work that they're already doing with Daisy Art Parade, if you wanted to be on the performer program for Street Performer Expo, that application is up on the Bus Roanoke Facebook page. If you need me to send it to you directly, because you don't do Facebook or whatever, you can get my contact info. But like, I know Mike or Catherine might be interested. I just want to make sure you get that schedule built out. And I know we're all very busy with Daisy Art Parade, and I am slammed from here until after Street Performers when I get back from Kansas, first week of June. So I'm gonna be trying to button all that up here in the next couple weeks. So make sure you get on that, because I want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to be represented as their full, authentic, wonderful street performing selves.
Anybody else have anything?
Daisy Art Parade is taking volunteers, it's taking more people to sign up for crews. You all know that already, so if you're here, you already know. Thank you all, it's gonna be fun.
All right, and thanks again to Amber.
Thank you, Amber.
Come see me.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, everybody have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.